Hello everyone, this is my review at the new Zorin, and I actually, you know, it's not really much difference, but I want to show Zorin as it is, like now. Zorin is basically an Ubuntu. This is an Ubuntu, and Zorin is basically just an Ubuntu with few or GNOME with few exceptions. So before we go to the fun stuff, I want to show a few things. I want to show that oops, not this one. Let's go here. I want to show for example, if I want to search OBS, I want to search OBS, and if I click on OBS, it doesn't allow me to do this, but it allow me to install it as a .deb package, which I did for the snaps, or flatpak. So that is, I think that's a very good way to do it. Before, I think if I remember right, Zorin became like only flatpak for a while. You can't even find .deb, or you can, but and it didn't allow any snaps for a while unless you download them separately, enable them. But now it's not. It's went back. So basically, it is an Ubuntu with with enabling Flatpak. So that's what it is. I just wanna mention that. So if you need the greatest software or the newest software, you can find it in multiple ways. And this is not because especially snaps. A lot of developers use snaps because servers use snaps if if they're using an Ubuntu server. So that is one thing. But okay, now let's go and talk about the fun stuff. Let's go to the tweaks, and let's look at the original Zorin. And you can tell it is very, very original, very good. It hit me that Zorin is really the closest menu to Windows 10. So if you click here, all the options will open. You have the information, of course, no advertisement, and here you have your directories, the places, for example, home, disk, whatever. If you want to open the files, and but if you click here, actually, it is a better. Of course, I'm gonna say it is better than Windows 10. It have the categories. The categories. You go here, categories separately. However, I'm not big fan of the two-click. You have to click on the category and you have to click back. The second option they give you is basically the same, except it's thinner. The third option is kind of like a configured GNOME, it is GNOME. So, but it's like a simply configured GNOME with -2 panel. I think that's the extension probably they used. And you can open it here. You can see all the information. I want to also mention that I had to install dependency and all this for the recording program OBS, because it won't play. So I had to install that. So that's something I want to mention. So that is one thing about it that was I discovered during this adventure. And this is how originally it came. Well, not really, but like this is how kind of originally it came. And I installed extension manager and extensions, and I downloaded through extension manager. I downloaded what is it? I downloaded task to dock, because originally it came like this, where you have to push the super in the Windows key or super key, or you can click here. That's how the basic vanilla GNOME is. But I installed the task, and I configure it to go to the side. and I installed the app menu as well. So I have this app menu which I like because of populate, you know. The other thing that Zorin did is, let's open something. Let's open this. It allow you to you know, tile, which is very very good, you know. This I use Forge tile extension in my Ubuntu and Debian, but this is not a bad tiling extension they have. It work. This is help you, like, usually if you like if you're developing a website, for example. I use it. I can like have like split the screen, whether you have the code here and you have, you know, a browser or something, open this. Or if you're writing, you know, like let's say taking notes, you have your LibreOffice here, open the writer, and you have info like browser maybe to help you, you know, check things out, you know. So that's the cool thing. Like this is for really very handy for people who do both normal work and development work, you know. So, but these things are things you can install yourself. I wanna answer one question here before we wrap it up, because this is it. It's not, you know, everything is probably like new. The kernel, of course, is new and all this. But is it worth it, for example, to use Zorin versus like Ubuntu? Or Zorin have a few things like enabled. It's easy to enable things that are like Windows files, and because have that wine, you know, it have that. So that one thing for Zorin get. But you know, if you are a computer person, you can do it yourself on Ubuntu and anything, you know, on any distro. But if you are not, Zorin really run okay. It run very good. It's not bloated by any means. Let's look at the so like it's not really that bloated. So like if you look here, I think this one. Yeah, so like if you look, I have two hard drives here, two solid state drives, and it is using out of 115. This one I put an mSATA in this on this mSATA, which is the Zorin have, and with even with the few things that I downloaded, I still have 103. So 100 gigabyte free space, so it's not bloated at all. So that is something to consider. I mean, GNOME is all GNOME, unlike many people what they think. It's actually not bloated. GNOME is very good for in general, and Zorin is one of them. Basically, Zorin is GNOME. Is very good for you know, it's not really bloated, not as many people think. It tend to put things in the RAM, which will allow it to run smoother even than XFCE. If you have enough RAM, you know, you can run Zorin very good, you know, and especially if your CPU is good. So like I hardly hear the fan with both, especially with Ubuntu, but the Zorin is also the same almost, and running in the background no matter what I do, you know. So that is one thing. So like that's a cool thing. So is Zorin worth it? Well, you be the judge. I mean, the fact that everything is not, if you like anti snaps, Zorin have everything. Allow you to install snap if you want, but everything is, I think, .deb, you know. You know, so that is one thing. If you, especially with the $50, for example, the professional, it's only good for people who are not computer technical or people who don't have time, because when you install many things, and you need time to configure them, to fix them, like you know that is actually will be worth it, because I think it's just one time purchase. And I really don't know, uh, you know and of course when if you want to support the project, so you don't have to. But I think core zorin will be very good. I wish they moved to like elementary OS. I mean, uh, like where you pay as you can donate. Like they could, I basically for example, I did donate to Zorin last year, or maybe this year, but I didn't donate $50. I didn't feel, if I the biggest donation for Linux I did was for Debian, for example, the base. But it's not a bad distro. It's not a bad distro at all. It ran very good. I had this I installed it I think 2 weeks ago, but I didn't run the machine often. I like configured it like this like a week ago, and today I run it, and that's it. That is my Zorin 18. Look, you guys have a good day.